Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank the Commission for their work and the recommendations today. In particular, I want to highlight one quote from the report that stands out to me because it describes why national service is a fundamentally American idea. And I quote, "Americans repeatedly step up in support of each other, offering their sweat and ingenuity when needed without being asked and without expectation of anything in return," end quote. I think that speaks volumes as to the ways military families serve alongside their service members and often go above and beyond what military families are asked to do. And yet spouses and other family members face hurdles to education and employment and can find themselves isolated from their extended family and support network. Dr. Heck, I understand that through your work with the Commission, you engage with military families to get a better perspective on how they view and participate in service to their communities. Can you speak to the potential impact of a program that would provide service opportunities specifically to military family members, giving them the opportunity to serve in their communities and gain skills and accreditations, or even progress towards educational opportunities, or even some grant funding, a sort of AmeriCorps kind of an idea, but for military families?
Thank you for the question, Senator Duckworth. Certainly, the Commission looks at elevating all forms of service with an eye towards growing national service opportunities across the board. And so if there was to be a segment of that growth targeted towards military families, that would still achieve the goal that the Commission has of having 1 million people in national service annually by 2031. Certainly, for the points that you mentioned, military families sacrifice and serve just as much, sometimes if not more, than the individual wearing the uniform. And they suffer when they move, constant PCS moves base to base, inability to maintain employment, get a good education. And so providing them national service opportunities also goes to the ability for them to serve in their local community or on their post-camper station to care for their brothers and sisters in arms. And that was something that we heard as we traveled around the country and spoke to individuals about service. There are a lot of people who want to serve, but they may not want to, do Peace Corps outside the country. They may not want to do AmeriCorps in an underserved community in a different state. They want to serve where they live and take care of their neighbors. And this is a great example of how we could grow service, open up opportunities, and allow people to serve where they live.
Thank you. Ms. Wada, from your perspective, with the Commission and your previous experience working in DoD, what are some potential barriers to implementing a service corps designed for military families? And are there any other ways you can think of for the department to make service opportunities accessible to military spouses and families?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I think that providing opportunities and to family members and spouses that would develop the skills necessary for them to be able to transition from base to base is important, and leveraging national service to be able to do that is would be a benefit. I think the department would have to do an analysis, though, on how best to engage in such a program to ensure that they're meeting not just the potential requirements that may be highlighted or identified by the department and the services, but also in the local communities in which they serve so that there is a balance.
Thank you. Mr. Casey, there are a number of programs throughout DoD that support employment, but the momentum and motivation to take advantage of these programs can really vary from installation to installation. Obviously, the installation commander can make it easy or difficult. Do you see the establishment of a military family service corps as something that can help support these efforts in alignment with the overall national public service program's intent?
Senator Duckworth, yes, I think your proposal is a brilliant idea. And there's precedent. FEMA Corps, which is a partnership between AmeriCorps and FEMA, leveraging FEMA resources, and the AmeriCorps' experience in developing a service program has been extremely successful on a number of areas. And I think that, military spouse unemployment, as you know, is 24%. When Blue Star Families did a study last year, they found that the #1 concern of military spouses is employment opportunities. This kind of program, I think, could be developed as an AmeriCorps program for military families. And we found that AmeriCorps is a great transition to employment. People learn skills. People who volunteer are 27% more likely to be employed after, and in rural areas, 55%. There's tons of work on installations, whether it's working in military schools, supporting wounded warriors, supporting families transitioning, coming up with high-quality other activities. So I think it could be a standalone program. It could be developed in partnership between the Corporation for National Service and the Defense Department. And I think there'd be tremendous interest. As you know, there is a strong spirit of volunteerism across our military families and on installations.
Thank you so much. This has been such an interesting hearing, and I appreciate each and every one of you for participating. And Mr. Chairman, thank you for having a hearing on this topic. I yield back.